We're into the last few days of December. In fact, I think it's the 29th of December today. A couple more days to go, and it's a new year, a new start, a new notebook, and new spreadsheets to fill with records. Here's a species that most people won't put in a notebook or a spreadsheet, and they don't do it because seven-spot ladybird here, Coccinella septempunctata, is a common species. Fluctuates in numbers pretty much annually, as does everything else. The thing I love about these little chaps is that although today has been largely dull and overcast, there's some hints of blue sky. We might even get a hint of sunshine too in a minute. This little chap has brightened my day by appearing like this, tucked in this little joint of two branches, trying to get a hint of any winter warmth from the sun. I love ladybirds. I can't understand people that don't. I know many coleopterists don't. They don't regard them as beetles. These aren't the little 1.5mm long brown jobs living in the middle of an oak tree that they require. Much rarer species. This is as common as muck, as we say in Nottingham, and as they say further north, I'm sure. But common as muck or not, this is a delightful little splash of colour on an otherwise gloomy winter's day. A day brighter than the last 4 or 5 that we've had. But this ladybird adds a beautiful splash of colour. And I like to see these because they do add that little bit of brightness, a little gem of an insect to light you on your way, to brighten you up, to cheer you up, because you can't fail to be made a bit more cheerful by the sight of this on a winter's day. Trouble is, many people see winter as a dead period. Maybe it used to be years ago. Now it's not. It's rarely cold enough for insects to remain completely dormant. Some will steadfastly refuse to get out of bed all over winter, but 1 or 2 do remain slightly or slowly active. That's what's so good about it now. You can find these little gems of colour, little bright orangey red beetles, quite handsome things. These and other species can be found on dead vegetation or at the ends of growths of pine, occasionally tucked into crevices in bark. These are things that you can look for during the winter month. The winter doesn't have to be a dead period where you sit in front of the fire and eat copious amounts of chocolate and watch rubbish on television. You can still get out and about and find stuff. And in fact, as I film this now, there's another one of these that's having a little wander. A wander in search of a hint of sun or somewhere more substantial to spend the night. Don't ignore common insects. It's surprising sometimes we have, or county recorders have, more records of rare species than they do of common species. And people say, well, I don't send common records in because they're common. That's nonsense to do, and don't do it. County recorders used to bemoan the fact that they didn't get sent many records 20 odd years ago. So get sent in them records. Send them records of common species like this 7-spot ladybird. The more records people have, the more they can look at population trends and fluctuations. Look, a bit of sunshine's come out. A bit of sunshine to brighten something that's brightened my day. Beautiful. So don't overlook these common insects. Species such as the 7-spot ladybird. It's a beautiful thing to see on a winter's day. Helps you realise that winters are shorter than you think.